Hello everyone, welcome to the post-match review. Manchester United have just been beaten 2-0 by Newcastle. Another game goes by where we are toothless in attack. I'd probably go as far to say, Sam, the first 30 minutes was probably the worst I've seen from this lot, and that says a lot because we have been shit all season. I personally felt like Newcastle took the foot off the gas a little bit, which it could have got more ugly, that, couldn't it, just in general.
I think that could have been, if it wasn't for that substitution and Manu coming on, I think that could have been about 4-0 before the end of half time, the way it was going. Not one player was good in that first 30 minutes, not a single one of them. I know we'll pick out like certain aspects and stuff like that, but yeah, every single player was shocking in that first 30 minutes. No desire, no physicality, no fight, no nothing. And I looked at that midfield and starting lineup, I was like, we're going to get overrun here. This is going to be chaos.
I think everyone saw that.
You cannot put Casemiro and Eriksen against the likes of Joe Linton, and Bruno Guimaraes, and Tonali. Like, it's just, yeah, that's ridiculous. And I knew that was going to happen, and it was a lot worse than even I was expecting that first 30 minutes.
I think that was one of the things I was most disappointed with when I saw the starting lineup and I saw those two in the middle. I thought, you can't play old man Eriksen and Casemiro next to each other. Maybe you'll get away with one of them. But two of them together, it was like a retirement home, wasn't it, with those three, like just pinging it around him consistently. No energy in the legs whatsoever. You still have Casemiro's side of his game where he's playing wild passes. I mean, Eriksen did some cute things on the ball, but I mean, these two, like a high Premier League level game like that, it was so clear and obvious that that just would not work. Now, there was another experiment that Amarin tried as well, Sam, the Zirkzee and Højlund experiment.
Yeah.
How do we feel about that? Because that was, I mean, Gary Neville said it in co-coms, booing a player off after. I thought that was a bit harsh, personally.
Yeah, no, he didn't deserve to be booed off. Like, again, every player was shocking. Like, I don't think particularly it was on Zirkzee for any of the goals or any of the sort of things that were going. He didn't play well. I'm not going to say that. But Lisandro Martinez, did he not deserve to be subbed off after that first 8 minutes?
Awful.
He was god awful. Like, he cost us the goal with the Isaac, not picking his man up.
Joe Linton as well.
Joe Linton, and so like he deserved to be subbed off, and I don't think he would have got booed had he been pulled off. I can imagine. No. So I think it's very unfair to be booing Zirkzee. Like, it wasn't great. Like, I'm not gonna say he is, but yeah, very unfair for the crowd to be booing him because, again, like, not his fault. And I felt bad for him, man, because he went straight down the tunnel, clearly upset with the reaction he got and that. So yeah, I'm not happy with it. I'm not happy with the crowd with that. Like, really not.
He seemed out of rhythm with players, didn't he? That it always seems to be on a different wavelength, and sometimes they can be made to look worse than what they are. Now, granted, his touch at times, I get, like, he is struggling at the moment, but you got to think from his perspective, to come from Italy, where he's been considered like a really high-level technical player, to come to a club like Man United, it's like a lot of people's dreams. Some people don't get to do that. Come over, and in the first 3 months has been so difficult for him. It gets to a point where you're like, you just don't see it working. I think it's going to be one of those transfers in and then transfers out, you know, in the next summer, because there'll still be clubs in Italy who are after him.
Well, there's stuff to talk about. Juventus being interested in him, isn't there? And Thiago Motta taking him back. So maybe that happens. Maybe that materializes. But yeah, I felt bad for him, man. Like, he didn't have a good game, but yeah, he didn't deserve that. Really didn't deserve that.
Well, let's try to go through the game like we always do. And it's not hard because within the first 4 minutes, across from Lewis Hall, Isaac scores a header, and there was no one challenging him whatsoever. And instantly, again, you're on the back foot, Sam.
Yeah, like, when no defenders are picking up one of the best strikers in the Premier League, and he's got free header, like, that's on the defenders. That's on Maguire, it's on Lisandro, it's on De Ligt, whoever's like supposed to be marking him. I thought it was Leacher because he's running for the ball, and then he turns around and sees Isaac heading into the net and doesn't even realize where he is. So that's, again, positioning and not knowing where your man is and stuff. Terrible defending, absolutely shocking defending. I think Mazraoui got done by Lewis Hall as well on the sort of the way around, and he knocked it past him. Yeah, just a really bad night from pretty much every defender, in my opinion. Like, I don't think any of them covered themselves in glory.
I think we've seen again a case of almost becoming the curse of United. Like, Majari and Ahmad now are like very, very quiet in games. They're having moments. Delete. Yeah, like it felt like for the full theme, I think it's probably the best way to describe it. Like it was like anxiety versus confidence.
Yeah.
Like you watch us on the ball, they don't seem quite sure of each, and I get it because they're almost doing like training sessions in games, aren't they? You can see them out the rotating at the back as well.
Yeah.
Like Yoro at left centre back today, Majrawi dropping back. You know, others like coming off. It seems a lot of confusion and anxiety, and I get he's doing it for short-term pain, long-term gain. Yeah. But it's a struggle at the minute, isn't it, to watch? It's so bad.
It's so evident that so many of these players are just not built for this. They're just not meant for this team. They're not meant for this level. They haven't got the stature and the standards that Manchester United require. So many of them, and it's starting to show now. It really is starting to show. Had Manu not come in that 30 minutes, I dread to think what the scoreline would have been. I really do, because I think once Manu come on after that 33 minutes, whatever Zirkzee came on, we looked a bit more solid for the rest of that half, and then the second half we looked a bit better. But again, that's not saying much because the first 30 minutes were one of the worst 30 minutes I've ever seen from Manchester United.
I felt like we was a bit better because they dropped off.
Yeah,
they was that comfortable, wasn't there, where they could just be like, they're not doing anything. There was nothing in attack where we was hurting them. Absolutely nothing.
We created a couple of opportunities. So there was the opportunity with Højlund where he goes down the left-hand side and he puts it across.
Yeah. Casemiro, the chance he missed as well. Massive chance.
Horrible miss that as well.
And he was moaning at Manu.
Yeah, I know. Like,
and I'm like, what are you moaning at?
That's on you, lad. That you fucked that. Just skied that. And then there was the Yoro header as well. You know, the ball goes in and you think, oh, Maguire hits the post. So we could have got back into this. Like we could, like we had the opportunities to get back into it, but again,
puffing though.
How many times have we said it though? Finishing is poor. Like when you need it, when you're desperate and you rave for your chances, and you've got these opportunities and we're not finished. Again, it's the same thing every game. Opportunities, not finishing your opportunities. That's what's happened.
I tell you what, after that second goal went in, because we kind of skipped past that. I mean, the 14 minutes after we conceded the first one, literally exact replica basically of the first one, like crossing. Joe Linton, do you think that was handball though? I thought it was handball. Because
I'd
brought up. Do you see the thing that they brought up? The body thing?
According to the rules, it is. But then I've seen stuff where it's not in the rules and it's been given. So I don't know anymore. I don't know. Like I don't know.
Anywhere shoulder. So from here upwards, that's not handball. So you can hit it there.
Yeah.
Anywhere below that, if you look on the thing where Joe Linton hits, it's there. It's on like where the elbow meets, basically. That is handball.
But we know the rules. That just fucking isn't like whenever it's implemented. Like what was the United one where Rodri gets grabbed and gets given, and then it happened to us. Like Højlund gets rugby tackled to the ground. Nothing. So they just fucking implement rules as and when they feel like, don't it? It doesn't really matter anymore, like what it is and what is actually a handball, what is a foul line. It just, like, I've given up on VAR at this point. I really don't know anymore.
I'm not saying by any stretch of imagination either.
Oh, no, we were shit.
Oh, we got done over. I can't believe we were robbed. Absolutely not. No. I am under no illusions whatsoever.
We would have lost that game no matter what. Like,
100%. 100%. Yeah, I mean, there was a point when I was watching Isaac in that first half, the way he was dribbling past our players, and I thought, oh my, this is going to be an absolute dick in this. But yeah, second half, I thought it was more control, shifting it about, better with tempo. But the thing that pissed me off about that, Sam, is it's almost you have to go behind for him to kick into gear and start playing. That's been a theme for so long, hasn't it?
It was under Ollie, wasn't it? Remember under Ollie?
Yeah.
Like, we'd go behind and then we start playing and, like, come behind and start winning. It's just like, how many times did we have to do that under Ollie? And it's like, at some point, this is going to run out and you're not going to be able to do this. And, yeah, it really is disappointing that so many players that again, how many times I've said this? There's so many players who on paper, these are good players on paper. They're good players. They get to United and just shit the bed, don't they? Like they literally just shit the bed. Like after a couple of games, it's shocking. And by the way, how much did we miss Ugarte in that midfield today? All those people who were slagging Ugarte off, going, "Why have we bought him? Why have we bought him?" That's why, because that happens when he's not there. That's what happens.
Well, we mentioned we've got a trip to Anfield next, so thank God him and Bruno are back for that because I don't think I could watch that at Anfield. Talk about energy and legs.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. They've just smashed West Ham 5-0 comfortably as well.
Yep.
Like, it was night and day. And we're, I don't know, 2 points ahead of West Ham, I think, at this moment in time. So, yeah. Right, I'm going to go to the comments because there's quite a few. Andy Williams saying, I don't really care about results anymore. I'm in Dubai for New Year's. I stayed up to 2 a.m. to watch that garbage. P.S. Højlund is one of the worst strikers I've ever watched, but he needs service. No, he's awful. Richard Gambles, honestly, if we don't do bits in January, we'll be in a relegation scrap because we don't look like winning. It's an interesting point now, Richard.
Richard, I got news for you. We ain't doing anything in January. It's not happening.
Well, I was about to bring that up. I think they need to. And I know you're going to say they're not going to happen.
Where's the money? Where's the money?
I know it's not, but they need to go spend. They need to go spend because you cannot. I'm watching players like fucking Dallo at left wing back, and I'm like, oh my goodness, mate. He can't play there. He can't. It's just not a fit at all. And every single game we play in there, it's hindering our left. The left side's just dead, completely dead. Forget about Zirkzee coming off on that left hand side. Forget about anyone who, when Garnacho comes on, did nothing.
You know what?
Dallo left wing back.
When Garnacho came on, I didn't even notice. Notice.
No,
I was like, saw someone. I was like, 17. Is Garnacho come on? When did he come?
Yeah.
I didn't even notice.
Did nothing. Tim saying could have been 5, paying a heavy price for not investing in an experienced striker and attackers. Yeah, Zirkzee painful to watch. Isaac cost the same as Højlund. I would rather have a broken Marshall than Højlund. Jesus,
you know what?
Is stretch.
What's the? It's not even like, oh, we should get this striker, we should get this. What has gone wrong is they've decided, oh, we're going to stick with Ten Hag, and then chucked a load of money at his type of players and his type of signings. Then sacked him after however many days. I brought in Amorim, who plays a completely different style with completely different types of players, and then gone, this is the squad we've built, so you got to work with it. That's what's going on. That's what's happening.
I think the summer would have looked very different if Amorim was in charge.
We've cost ourselves big time by keeping Ten Hag. They fucked up big time, and every time I think about it, it's like, that must have been a Dan Ashworth call and why he's lost his job, because.
Yeah. Well, Dave Brailsford was backing it as well, though.
Yeah.
So why's he not gone?
Because he works for Ineos, so he's not going to lose his job, and he's Sir Jim's mate, isn't he? So, I think that's why he's lost his job, because they must have had an argument, Barada and whoever, Sir Jim, and gone, no, we need to get somebody else, and they've backed him, and it's gone wrong, and then they've got rid of Ashworth, because, like you said, I think if Amorim comes in this summer, really have a very different team than what we're looking at right now. You probably don't see Zirkzee come in. You probably don't see.
But then this is where I get confused, though, Sam, because they say, oh, these are Ineos signings, right?
Yeah.
So are they Ineos signings, or are they for the... Because you can't have it both ways, can we? It's got to be one or the other.
I think Ugarte is definitely an Ineos signing, because that, from what we've read, Ten Hag wasn't convinced on him, was he? So that seems like an Ineos signing. I think Mazraoui was an opportunity signing. So I think that was his thing. I think De Ligt was probably a Ten Hag signing. Højlund and Zirkzee are definitely Ten Hag signings. Leacher, obviously a Ten Hag signing. Anthony, obviously a Ten Hag signing. So, I think out of all of them, you're probably looking at Ugarte is the only one who's probably going to stick under Amorim, isn't it?
Just a question, mate. You guys were demanding standards from Ten Hag, but Amorim is now fighting a relegation battle. That's because the team... Right, let me just explain. So, what Ten Hag would do is gamble and play chaotic football and somehow manage to win trophies with it. But the football in the league overall was appalling, and you never know what you would get from each day. What Amorim's having to do is reset mid-season in December with a load of shit players. That's why we're fighting a relegation battle. Not because he's incompetent, not because he can't manage a team, because he's doing it mid-season. That's why we are where we are.
He's had no transfer window. He's not been able to spend, what did Ten Hag spend? 600 million? Not been able to spend 600 million. He's basically doing his pre-season in the middle of the season, trying to figure it out, realizing half of these players it ain't going to work and ain't going to fit in the team. And then people are having to go at him. It's like, you not see it. How many times do we have to go through these managers before people realize it's the players? Like, how many times? It's baffling. People keep blaming the manager. Maybe it's the players. Like, let's start there.
John saying, hi guys, just on, Happy New Year. Thank you very much, John. Happy New Year to us as well. Why did he start the 2 old lads in the nursing home ahead of Cobbe? Said it at the start on the pre-match. That was the first thing I noticed instantly. I said, why are those two in the middle of the park?
Mistake.
I get you're trying to rotate maybe sometimes, and you're trying to give a bit of freshness, but you're not bringing in freshness, are you? When you bring them two in, it's like
I've seen people go, "Oh, why are we not playing Eriksen? Why are we not playing Casemiro?" That's why.
That's why they're not playing. Yeah,
and that's why they're probably leaving in the summer. That's why they've not offered Eriksen a new contract, and that's probably why Casemiro hasn't played, because they want to shift him in the summer because they're on too big a wages and he ain't gonna work. So that's why.
What you're seeing from those two is MLS level of football. That's where they're at. They would go there now and they would fit in with the players that are there, and Saudi League. I don't even know if they'd fit in at the Saudi League because that's probably more competitive. It just, as soon as Kobe came on, I'm just seeing a couple of stats coming in there. 57 minutes played, 96% passing accuracy, 1 big chance created, 6 duels won, 5 tackles. He needs to be starting in there, man. Yeah, he needs to be starting in there.
I think he will. Like, obviously, you got Ugarte coming back for Liverpool, so you'd imagine it's going to be Bruno and Ugarte, or Bruno Mainu, isn't it? And with Bruno in the 10, I can imagine that's what it's going to be.
You ready for this? Man United have lost 5 of the last 6 relegation form, Sam. Really, isn't it?
No, it definitely is. I put a stat in the group before. United have conceded 18 goals in December. The first time we've conceded that many or more in a single month since 1964, I think.
Jesus Christ.
That's worrying.
Here's a question for you, and we kind of put it in the graphic, I think, as well. Genuine question. Is this the worst Manchester United team ever? Obviously, we can't remember as far back as...
I was born in '88, and then the first memory I had watching United was when I was 3 or 4, so that's 92, 93.
Yeah, and that's when we just started.
We'd won the European Cup Winners' Cup in '91, and then the FA Cup and stuff. So we started to be slightly decent at that point, and then obviously the Premier League started in the '90s. So in my lifetime, probably. This is the worst we've looked. I haven't seen a team that's played as badly as this. Even under Ollie, we played some amazing football, some really good football. Ragnick did some really shit football. I remember that. Van Gaal football, it wasn't shit. It was just boring, really boring. Yeah, this generation of players that we've got in a minute. Yeah, I worry, man. I really worry.
I see someone describing it on X before. And it made me laugh. He said, "This is like the last bit of your poo when you're struggling to get it out."
He's trying to shake your ass.
You're trying to anything you can, and you're like, "Oh, nothing's going." But then when eventually it is removed, you're kind of like, "Oh, right, now we can go again." Do you know what I mean? I thought that's just a perfect analogy for it.
Remember I used to weekends or weekdays like, "Oh, United are playing," and used to get excited about it. Yeah. Now I'm just like,
"Oh, I think it speaks volumes." That everyone in this chat right now, and including ourselves, and anyone who'll be watching this later on, they'll be sat there and no one's surprised.
Nope.
Not one person is surprised because they knew it's going to happen. It's the reality. We've got... Go on.
Look at our preview. Like, me, you, and Shreyas all said losses 3-0.
Yeah.
3-1. Like,
I'm just going to call you negative. I can't think. Yeah, it's like...
Reality. It's fucking reality.
Yeah. So I once heard a very famous man say, "What is one of the worst drinks to drink? One of the worst teas to drink?" Sorry, and he said reality.
Yeah.
So take that very in.
True.
It is. Liverpool at Anfield next, Sam.
I'm just pretending that game doesn't exist at this point. Like
Liverpool at Anfield next.
Can we just pretend? Like let's just pause the channel will go dark on that day, and we'll just pretend we don't have a YouTube channel until it's over, and then we'll come back and then just pretend that game never happened and be like, right, next game we're playing Arsenal in the FA Cup, and just pretend because oh god, that's gonna be like somebody watching run a train on your grandma, isn't it? That's just gonna be horrific.
I think I'd rather watch that than Liverpool, to be honest.
It just shouldn't be allowed to be broadcast. That should it? That's just gonna be horrifying. Horrifying that.
And I have a feeling the players are going to be going into that, and they'll be feeling the exact same. They'll be like, "Oh my god," the pressure on them going into there with the fans. The fans are already booing new signings off the pitch. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't know what's on that day. If there's, I don't know, the Bake Off or
The darts.
Just anything.
Can we watch the darts instead?
Cricket.
Let's do a watch along for the darts.
We'll do a watch along for the darts World Championship. I genuinely, I don't know if I could put myself through that Liverpool game. I did the 7-0. Me and Trez did the 5-1 or 5-0 for the first game. I don't know if I could put myself through it, honestly.
I've not done a watch along since that Brentford one. That was bad enough. That was fucking horrific. Jesus Christ, this Liverpool one. I don't know. I think if the Liverpool one goes as badly as I think it does in the first half, I might just switch it off and go do something else. Because I can't face that. I really can't.
Sahil Hussein, what did I say before? Isaac and Gordon will cause a mayhem to the back line. Jamie Ward, if tonight's game is anything to go off, Liverpool will dominate us. It's painful to watch.
Yeah.
John, replying to our question before, saying 100% the worst team. My first season was 88-89, finished 13th, but Wed, Hughes, Robbo, top players, Bruce, Pallet, Ince, Young, Sharpe.
Yeah.
Real darts talk. There we go. Team 99. Real it might just happen at this point because I'm really struggling to lose the games that we have. I mean, we conceded 2 tonight. It could have been more. 3 against Bournemouth at Old Trafford as well.
Yeah.
There's no teams that are coming to our stadium at the moment, and this is fear factor. Nothing. Because we're not scoring and we're conceding loads of goals.
And if they get a corner, they're just taking shots at our goal now. Like Trippier took 2 shots on those corners, didn't he? He just shot straight at goal because he knew that was the thing. And it's just like, it's fucking embarrassing, man. It's so embarrassing.
In Premier League history, 4 teams who were 14th at the turn of a year have been then relegated where we are at the moment. Newcastle in 08, Burnley in 09, Norwich in 2013, and Leeds in 2022. That, I mean, there's people that joke about it and say, no, we could get relegated and da. It could happen. Like, Anfield next, right? Let's say we lose that.
What do you mean, let's say we lose that?
Of course
we'll lose in that game.
We will lose that, should I say. Anfield next. Arsenal, obviously, FA Cups. That won't have an effect on the table. Southampton at home is the one where you kind of like, the Gary Neville meme where he says, that's the banker. That's the one you thought would come in. Well, that's the one you think.
We played Southampton away and they looked better than us for that first goal. Yeah. And then once they didn't have that penalty, and we scored, then it was over. But for the first 20 odd minutes, they looked better than us at Southampton. They looked like a thing. So who knows? They could come here, look really good in the first 20 minutes, score 2 goals like Newcastle done, and that's it. Game over. Doesn't really matter at that point.
Brighton at home. Rangers at home. Fulham away. I mean, it's
Fulham,
just like
Brighton, 2 teams who are pushing top 8, top 7 at the minute.
Yeah,
and they're playing really good football, playing really well. They'll outscore us. They'll beat us. That's probably going to happen.
So as it stands, you don't think we'll do any business in January?
Not unless we sell Rashford or Casemiro or something like that.
Because they talk about finances. Surely it's a lot worse financially if you get relegated.
Well, yeah, of course it is. But maybe that gets rid of the Glazers. Maybe that's the silver lining. If we get relegated, maybe the Glazers fuck off finally. So we go talk about playing Gillingham and all that.
Away to Gillingham.
Yeah.
Fucking hell, man. They always say it can't get worse. It can't get worse. It can get worse, and it will get worse after this game as well.
Yeah.
After the Liverpool one, then you can maybe talk about a glimmer of hope. Something to cling on to if when we play Southampton at home. But that is like quite literally
that
clutching at fucking straws.
But definitely lose to Liverpool. I imagine we'd lose to Arsenal in the FA Cup. We're out of the FA Cup. I imagine we'd lose to Brighton. Imagine we lose
Fulham
to
will beat us. Fulham are a really good
Fulham
team.
Will beat us. Maybe we get a result against Rangers because they're pretty shit. Maybe we get a result against Rangers, but what's that? 1 win in like 5 games.
That is right now. Yeah, Palace have better form than us. Everton have better form than us. Yeah. Wolves have better form than us. Ipswich have better form than us. It's only Leicester and Southampton who have worse form in the last 5 games than United.
And we've beat. They're the only 2 teams we've beat. Is Leicester and Southampton. We drew against Ipswich, lost against Wolves. Did you play Palace yet?
0-0. We drew, didn't we?
Drew against Palace. So we haven't beat any of those teams either. We've only beat Southampton and Leicester.
Oh my god! Halfway through the season, 19 games played, only 6 wins, four draws, 9 losses, 22 points. If we replicate this, we'll be on 44 points by the end of the season. It is.
Not that Chelsea season where Lampard was bad; they were just losing. Is this worse than that? Is this worse?
It's on par. I think.
Definitely people
on par.
like.
No, it's got to be worse. I can't remember Chelsea being this low.
People were genuinely worried about Chelsea getting relegated, weren't they? Like they were genuinely worried. This must be worse. This has to be worse.
It's got to be right up there on it. Footy edit saying I'm really done with this club, man. Can we win Europa League? A lot of crap in that competition. I think Spurs are favourites. No chance we're winning that. I'm sorry. There just isn't. The way we're playing at the minute, you know, with all due respect, Wolves looked a miles better team. When we've played teams near the bottom, they've looked equal or better.
We've struggled.
And you ain't winning the Europa League like that.
We've struggled. When we have won in the Europa League, we've struggled. Struggled to beat Bodo Glint. We drew against Porto. We drew against FC 20. What was the other win we had under Rude? Who did we beat?
Pauk.
Pauk, yeah. Didn't really look good in that game, did we? Like,
no.
Fine. So, Pauk is a very low-level opposition, as is Bodo Glint, and we struggled. So, yeah, go figure that out. Like, I don't see us doing anything in that competition at all.
There's a lot of people saying already, starting to say maybe Amarin should tweak, maybe he should, switch to a back 4. What would you say to them people?
I think we'll then end up in the same position next season because if he does what Ten Hag, because that's what Ten Hag did, didn't he? He came, he wanted to play his Ajax football and realised he couldn't, went and tweaked it and then tried to implement it the next season. Obviously, we got battered. So I'd rather go through this pain now than him switch back to whatever it is the players want to do and then try and implement it next year and then we end up with the same shit. So.
Sorry, I've just seen a picture of Joshua Zirkzee, right? And the caption, I'll send it you.
Yeah.
The caption says Zirkzee almost in tears whilst walking down the tunnel after being substituted, right? But it's not. That's not what I'm laughing at. I'll send it you over. If anyone's seen it, it's the facial expression. It looks like a child who's just been told off and sent to the naughty step. Look at his face.
That's funny. That.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, I got slightly distracted with that. We can't really end with any positives, can we? I was trying to say, can we take anything at all from that? No. But we didn't score any goals. We looked shocking defensively. The midfield was all over the gaff. Zirkzee subbed after 30 minutes. Rashford on the bench, but didn't get brought on. None of the subs had any genuine impact.
Maybe
anything I'm missing?
He showed it up a bit when he came on. We looked a little bit better, but maybe that was because, like you said, Newcastle took the foot off the pedal and just were happy to settle for a 2-0 rather than try and sort of put us to the sword. So, yeah.
I'm really saying when you've got your coat on.
I've really run out of shit to say on this team at this point.
It's draining, isn't it? Draining is the best way to describe it. We are a draining. All my emotion and fucking joy for this club has been sucked right out of me. So
it's like the stuff on the pitch is sucking the life out of me, and all the shit going on off the pitch with the fucking money away from the charity and the ticket price rises. That's just ruined everything else going on. I'm just like, there's no positives in this club at the minute. Like, there's nothing going on where I can hang on to it and be like, oh, at least this bit's going well. It's all shit.
Well, on that bubbly positive bombshell, I think we shall leave the review at that. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a tough old watch, but it always is. Look, this is when you're kind of born into supporting a club, or you choose a certain club. Everybody's different. You have your rough patches, and this is arguably the roughest patch that we've ever been through as a club. We were spoiled in the 90s. We had a decent 2000 to 2010. But pretty much ever since that, I mean, even Sam's light's tired behind him. It's just had enough. The other one, we started flickering then as I was speaking.
Gone,
yeah. Either light's had enough, we've had enough. It's going to be a long, long road, people. But you all are smart enough to know that. Yeah. Anyway,
championship will be fun. That'll be fun, man.
Yeah, we could win that. Yeah. We could win that.
And we get to talk about teams that we normally don't play as well. Like, that'll be fun. I'll enjoy that.
Yeah. We're going to go to Liverpool next at Anfield. and that is going to be a tough hold game. But we'll save ourselves for the preview
Don't
for that.
expect any positivity on that preview.
No,
Don't expect any.
No. Thank you for watching. I appreciate people tuning in because I get people are pissed off and they just want to turn everything off and not listen to anything. So I appreciate everyone who's in the chat and been interacting. If you think United are a bag of shit at the moment, smash a like on the video for us. Subscribe to the channel if you've got any effort left in the tank. And me and Sam will see you guys in the next one.
Peace.
In a bit.